Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. My name's Joanie, and on behalf of TravelProfessionalNews.com, home-based travelagent.com, and Find a Host travelagency.com, I want to welcome all of you to today's webinar, and I thank you for taking time out of your day to be with us. TPI's Vice President of Industry Engagement and Support, Jenn Lee, and she's going to share a little more news with us, I think, today, but
Yes.
focuses her attention achieving one singular goal for the travel industry: to ensure that today's travel advisor and agency owners are well equipped to successfully take the industry into the decades ahead. And her straightforward and her fresh approach in supporting the industry as a whole reaches beyond just the TPI advisor, as she sits on the ASA Corporate Advisory Council, the Family Travel Association, and many other travel partner boards, and speaks at various conferences, conducting webinars, Facebook Lives, podcast interviews. Essentially, if there's an opportunity for her to lend her insight, Jenn is there. And when not supporting the industry, this grandma of two can be found sitting on her back porch in Howey in the Hills, Florida, sipping on some wine and cheering on the Alabama football team. Now, today's webinar is going to be really a great one. It's about beyond content creation and how AI can change the way that you communicate. So this is really going to be super interesting today. Please remember that you're all muted, but we do welcome, as you know, your questions at any time. And oftentimes Jenn will ask for questions to be answered throughout the presentation. So we'll be using your question area for that. You can type the questions in at any time that you want. And when the presentation is over, we're going to take as many of your questions as we can. So I'm going to turn the microphone over to my good friend so she can get started. Welcome, Jenn.
Thank you, Joanie. Yes, and I might have to change my bio, my intro, because
I know.
I've lost my beloved Nick Saban. No, you're thinking of something else. My beloved Nick Saban with Alabama football. So hopefully my roll tide will continue. But hello.
Okay.
Yes, hello, everybody. And I'm really happy to see so many of you joining this particular webinar. You know, AI is definitely something that people have been talking about for a while. I've been following it for about 6 years. It never really made it out of the box in our world here in the travel industry until just a few years back. And one of the things that I'm seeing at TPI, because we're very blessed, we have a marketing technologist. This is a guy that he's retired actually, but he's obsessed with giving travel advisors a leg up. He's really sharing the inside secrets of what's happening behind the scenes when it comes to AI, all the different answer engines and ChatGPT and Gemini, and I'm sure you guys have heard a lot of it. But I'm not going to talk about AI in the sense of how to utilize AI today. I woke up about a month ago and I sent Joanie an email and said, this has really been something that I've been thinking about for a while. What will AI do for us as travel advisors, or people in the industry, and of course, consumers? And the great news is, I'm sure you've heard this from a million people, but the great news is you are not going to be replaced by AI. And I'll talk a little bit about it. Actually, by the end of this webinar, I'm going to give you 5 things that if you need to stop doing or start doing right now, so that you are ahead of the game versus trying to catch up. And I promise you, it has nothing to do with social media posts. That's why it's called Beyond Content Creation. This is really about how AI gives you an opportunity to kind of change the way you communicate. But in reality, I want to talk about, and my presentation, guys, is it's a little lag. So if I start saying something before it gets there, apologies. But it's really about how AI must change the way you communicate moving forward. This is not about a nice to have. This is an expectation. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about it. I don't know, Joanie, can you guys still see my screen? I'm going to move it to the next one that says Jenn Lee's not official, super simple definition of AI. I think you need to change on your side because I don't see it changing. Do you see it?
Uh-huh.
Okay, good. Okay, sorry guys, we never have any issues with this, but for some reason we are. So first off, what is AI, right? So this is my super simple, non-official definition of AI. It is transforming what others have shared into what you want to share. And so for those of you that know anything about AI works off of this thing called the large language model. Basically, in simple terms, this computer is able to go and read millions and millions and millions of documents in 5 seconds or less. And so when you put something in, it's not searching for here are some options to help you out. It's looking for the answer and giving you the answer. So where it gets that, where it's being fed, is from folks who have shared information, right? And anything that is shared online in the World Wide Web, back in the day, we call it the World WW, you know, the big internet, anything that is shared out there, including pictures and videos and the word and everything, is utilized in helping to give those answers and to craft and curate the responses. So this is why I came up with a super simple, not official definition of AI. It's just transforming what others have shared into what you want to share. So I have a question, and I'm hoping my slide moved. And this is a chance for you guys to type in your answers, but let's poll the audience real quick, Joanie. How have you used AI? How have you, as an advisor, used AI already? And if you can read off some of those answers for me, that would be great.
I will, just a sec. I have not used it at all. So we got a couple of those. Assistance with the difficulty writing emails, to create content descriptions and make outreach scripts, to write an agenda. I used it responding to emails to clients. Haven't used it. Facebook posts, mission statement. Good idea. Putting together email campaigns, social media, creating brochures. Okay, used it for creating ads and checking on cancellation policies. Assistance with emails, kind of along those lines. Rewrite hotel vendor verbiage, that sort of thing. Good.
Okay, good. So I love it.
Answers.
That's such a variety, especially someone said commission inquiries or commission structure. There's so much power behind it. And so I'm super happy to hear so many advisors have used it in a variety of different ways. What we're finding is that most people, not just advisors, but most people are in the marketing world, which you guys are all sales folks and you own your own businesses, you're using to help create content and help you to save time. What I'm going to tell you is where we're going with AI is we being AI, I should say I'm not AI, but it's really, as consumers, we are evolving our expectations and delivery. Now write that down. This is really what AI is doing is changing our expectations. It's evolving what we expect, right? From a service of some sort, or from a program, or from a company, and it's helping us with a stronger delivery. So I want you to remember that. This is really about evolving expectations. Advisor world, easy peasy lemon squeezy for you to be able to adapt.
Your sound went away.
Oh no, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Barely. Hold on a second, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to make sure everybody else can hear you. Hey, can somebody chime in? Okay, they say they can hear you fine. I don't hear you great, but I'll worry about me. Don't worry about me. Go for it.
Okay, good deal. So if everyone could hear me, I said at the very end, for advisors, evolving expectations and altering your delivery is going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy. And you can quote me on that if you'd like. It won't be one of the questions, but you should write that down anyway. So that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit today, right? Evolving expectations. So let me take you back. Joanie, did you own a microwave back in the day? I mean, I'm sure you own one now, but do you remember when they first came out?
Yep.
Okay, so when microwaves first came out, I remember this in the mid 80s or early 80s, we got a microwave, and then all of a sudden frozen dinners had to adjust, right? And they had to get microwave safe containers instead of the old Hungry Man Jack, tin containers that you would throw into the oven. They had to be microwavable containers. Do you remember that?
Absolutely, I do. I still have those containers.
Exactly. Some of them are really good, right?
Yeah.
So I can recall specifically once we got a microwave and we started using it, my mom had bought us some frozen Stouffer's lasagna packs, right? Like individual frozen Stouffer's lasagna. My mother was not a cook.
I know what's coming here.
What? Huh?
Did it blow up?
No. I remember I went to go make one for an after school snack because I'm a weirdo. I was eating lasagna for an after school snack. So I went to go make it and I flipped the box on the backside, and I looked for the microwave instructions. And it said it was going to take 19 minutes to cook. I was like, are you kidding me? Can you believe it? It's going to take 19 minutes. The microwave maybe a year, and all of a sudden where the normal cooking time, because I remember looking, let me see how long it would take if I put it in the oven, the normal oven time was 55 to 65 minutes, right? But I was throwing a fit over it taking 19 minutes. I was like, this is ridiculous. They've got to improve this technology. It didn't take long for my expectations of how long it should take before I could feed my face with that Stouffer's frozen lasagna meal. It didn't take long. That's what's happening again. Very similarly, when we use Google Maps, or if we're, sending an email. Have you ever? There's a really funny episode. I think it was a Johnny Carson or a David Letterman, and somebody was like, you send an email and you're like, I don't have it, I don't have it, I don't have it, I don't have it, and somebody was like, yeah, it's got to go to space, people. It's got to go to space and come back down. Like, of course you don't have it just because I pressed enter. So you can see our expectations have been evolving with every new piece of technology, with every new opportunity. I mean, where would we be without Amazon? Now, if it takes more than 2 days for an Amazon delivery, you're like, where am I, in the middle of Iowa? What do you mean it's going to take 3 days, right? So our expectations have changed, and that is what's happening with AI. Now, the good news is that the expectations and delivery are not what you think it is. It's not that people want to be able to book their own travel. The evolving expectations of the traveler, and actually there was a couple of studies that I actually looked up using AI, thank you very much. But according to a Pew Research, 81% of internet users in the US turn to the search engine to find travel information. They are accustomed to instant answers and personalized recommendations by AR. However, part of their evolving expectation is that they want someone to finish the job. And that's where you guys come in. So part of evolving expectations is the traveler, Pew Research indicated that the travelers are looking for you to be an answer engine in and of itself, possessing in-depth knowledge of destinations, travel trends, and niche experiences. So let's talk about that for a second, right? So no longer is a consumer going to be okay with, they're assuming actually that you have in-depth knowledge of what they're calling you about. Now, I don't want you to freak out because I'm going to tell you how to kind of work around it, but that's an assumption, an evolving expectation that the consumers have now of travel advisors. The next thing is they want crafted, personalized itineraries. They want their travel advisor to handle complex logistics. They want their travel advisor to be able to say, I've negotiated a great deal for you, AKA exclusives of anybody who's listening as part of a host agency or a consortia. You get to take the credit when, a particular cruise line or hotel chain or whatever gives additional amenities. You should be saying our agency was able to negotiate an early check-in, late checkout, a nice amenity, a free breakfast and everything. They're expecting that. That's why they're coming to you. So consumers are expecting that. The consumers are also expecting from their travel advisor to provide insights, cultural understanding, and contingency plans if things go wrong or if their travel plans have to change unexpectedly, right? So again, AI can't do that, right? AI is not going to be able to handle that. What it is, the traveler says, listen, travel advisor, this is what I'm looking for from you as my travel advisor. They're also looking for you to really become a curator, not just a booking engine, right? They want you, and I've talked about this forever, they want you to focus on storytelling and creating unique experiences, tailored to their individual interests. Right? Again, this is the evolving expectation, very much like I expected my lasagna to take way less than 19 minutes. I think they've got it down to 12 minutes. I did do a little research. So 12 minutes for my lasagna, right? So that's the expectation. And then finally, the traveler has said that they really are emphasizing your ability to navigate unforeseen circumstances, provide emotional support. Go ahead and type in there, have you ever had to act as a therapist? Have you ever had to act as like, a marriage counselor, a family counselor with your clients, right? So they are actually expecting that. Part of their evolving expectations is that you possess all of these. Well, the good news is for years we've said this is what we possess, right? This is the part of the conversation where I kind of want to go, see, I told you so. Like I've been in the industry now 8 years, and I remember coming into the industry 8 years ago, and the very first thing I saw was you guys all had it wrong. Not how you curated experiences, but how you saw your role in the travel experience for the consumer. Now with AI is saying, listen, the traveler, this is what they want, this is what they expect now. And so the next couple of slides and few minutes of us talking are going to be about the things that you can change. But remember, I had said it's evolving expectations as well as delivery. So let's, I want everyone to write this down. If one of, so there's a difference between an AI like ChatGPT and an answer engine. And without going into a lot of technical detail, it's really simple. AI utilizes things that are out there already, right? And gives you recommendations. In many cases, actually gives you the answer or puts it together. An answer engine kind of goes one step deeper. It actually gives you the answer. So here is my battle cry for all advisors. Here is the great news. AI is training the consumer to expect answers. Actually, they're going to demand answers. They don't want 3 quotes anymore, guys. That's what this is saying. They expect you to do the work that's necessary. I'm going to talk to you about that in just a moment. But for you to do your job so that when you come back and you tell them, this is where you're going, this is when you're going, based on our conversation, here is what you're doing. Because if you write down this answer engine, it's called Perplexity. I want everyone to write that down. And if you haven't been to Perplexity, it's free, like almost all of them are free. Go to Perplexity, and actually, if you pay for the Pro, you'll really see what I'm talking about. But if you just type in, hey, Perplexity, can you give me a cruise that would be great for families during the summer? It'll probably come back and say, yo, you didn't give me enough information. Right? I want to give you the answer, but I don't have enough information to give you the answer. It'll say, how old are the kids? When is summer for you? What size cruise? It doesn't go with just the generic request. It says, for me to do my job, which is to give you the answer, I need you to give me more information, right? So first off, I'm going to pause there for a second. I want to make sure that everybody is kind of following along with what these expectations are from the traveler. And if anyone is disagreeing with me or says, hey, Jen, I really don't think that's what they want because my people call me because they want the best price. Notice I didn't say anything about the best price. They wanted insights. They want personalization. They definitely want to make sure that you've negotiated on their part, but they're not motivated by the price. So anybody got anything to say about that?
Not
Boy, that
yet.
sounded challenging. I didn't mean it like that.
Just a sec. We'll see if anybody's going to put anything in the questions.
How does everyone feel when I say the future for you, which is really now, is that you get to send one quote over. How would that feel to you? Only sent
I don't
one
know.
quote.
Come on, folks. I need you to answer for poor Jen.
It's
She's
okay.
waiting. Agree. Okay, agree. It would be
Yeah.
nice. Of
Yeah.
course it would, Megan. You're right.
Right. And so I want you to sit on this, or sit in this, I should say. They want you to be an answer engine. The studies show it, and even if I didn't read a study, I can tell you, think about it. This is what this technology is training us, yourself included, training us to expect. We don't want, so like when you go to Google currently, guys, if you Google something and you don't have AI turned on and you say, you know, travel advisor near me, right? It's going to show you a list of travel advisors near you. And then it's your job then to click on each one to see which one is the best fit for you. You just put in anything, Starbucks near me, it'll give you a list. It doesn't even say, here is the one Starbucks that's near you. Yeah, it might be the one top of the list, but in Google, it actually still gives you options. And you know why? Because Google makes money off of ads, Google ads. And the only way they can make money is if they show multiple options. Well, in the AI world, the answer engine world, and Google's getting their butt kicked right now, and they're kind of scrambling. But in the AI world, if you go to Perplexity and you ask that same question, it's going to give you here is the closest Starbucks near you according to this map above. It's open such and such because it already knows. I don't want to know just where it is. I need to know, is it open? Right? Do they accept credit cards? And I'm making that up. Of course they do. But you know what I mean? Like it's already anticipating more than what your question is. Because it's not, because what do we do? Dillard's dresses, where can I get this dress? I put in so many complex searches into Google. And what happens is it brings up the About Us page for Dillard's, or it brings up the office locations of Dillard's. I still have to keep digging. Do you see the difference? And Joanie, this is where I kind of need you as well. Do you see the difference? The way we used to Google and search, it would give us options. It would say, okay, and it would give us the options of what we asked for, but we haven't been trained to ask for very specific. In the AI
Correct.
world, not in the answer engine world, we're asking things like, where is the closest Dillard's to me that has this particular dress in size 10 in red, and what are the hours of that location? If you put that in, an answer engine is going to answer that question. It's not going to give you results. Do y'all see the difference? And
Yeah,
this is,
I think so.
maybe I'm just blowing your minds. I don't know. Maybe you're like, Jenn Lee is crazy, but I'm not. I promise you. I want you to just think logically about it. And that's why I'm so passionate about this subject for y'all. And I told Joanie, I said, I've been thinking about this, and I think, I think Travel Professional News is the right place for me to have this conversation with you guys. So you might hear me say it a couple of more times, but the consumer is going to demand answers. And this is why I want you to get on board now. So here are the shifts.
Somebody made a comment. I'm going to read it to you, and I want you to you will respond to it, because I want to make sure that everybody's following on the same direction that you're going here with this. So somebody said, so we are to be directors, and like at a restaurant, we create a single menu, but do it as a prefix menu or meal concept that certain restaurants might do. Does that make sense, what she's saying or he's saying? Melinda.
I think if you think, is it Melinda?
Melinda.
Hi, Melinda. Melinda. Hey, Melinda. I think what it is the day will come when instead of getting a big menu that you can get fish, tacos, burgers, a Reuben, chicken noodle soup, a chicken pot pie. The reason I know this is because I just went to a diner and there was like 472 things on here. Usually most diners, and this is what we did, we said, how good are your hamburgers? Tell me about your hamburgers. And the waitress said, oh, they're hand patted. If I ask how good are your hamburgers and the answer is, oh, they're good, that didn't answer my question, right? The answer is, oh, they're fresh, they're hand patted. We actually use this type of meat. We patty them every single morning. We put them on a hot grill. I think the day will come where we go in and we say, you know what, I'm in the mood for red meat. I like it juicy. I don't want anything crunchy. I want things soft. bring it to me. I'm allergic to mushrooms, bring it to me. The waitress that asks the right questions, any service provider that asks you the right questions are going to hit the target a lot closer than us as consumers. Us as consumers having to go in and ask a million questions, right? The waitress needs to know, here's the reason why they asked about the hamburgers, right? Okay, they're fresh, they're giving me the answer. So I'm not sure if I answered Melinda's question or not, and we're not there yet, but I'm gonna tell you something, guys. If you start thinking this way, you're gonna be so ahead of the game, so ahead of the game, because it's gonna affect your marketing, it's gonna affect the way you talk, it's gonna affect your expectations, and because the consumers evolve in the expectations, their expectations are evolving, and their request for delivery is already being sped up, so to speak, to hit the nail on the head the first time. When you do it, you have won. And I mean won for life. Like, you have got it. They will just keep the credit card on file or tell you, here's what we're going to do for the next 18 months. Tell me where we should go next, which is like the Xanadu, right? The Xanadu for an advisor is like the customers are calling you and they're referring you and they're trusting you and they're not questioning you and your capabilities and your planning fee, so on and so forth, okay? So here's the shifts that I'm going to suggest that you make right now. And these are all shifts that you can do right now, right away. And some of them I've done other webinars on. So here, there are 5 different shifts. Ask more questions. I'm going to dive a little deeper, but ask more questions. Use AI on the fly. Segment your messaging. Adopt a sales funnel marketing strategy, which Joanie, you and I did a webinar
We
on
did
that.
do, yeah, but there is one on that, yeah.
Yep, and share, constantly share. So I'm gonna dive deep. Oops, sorry, went backwards. I'm gonna dive a little bit more into each one of these. Ask more questions in the beginning. Of course, I've said this quite a bit, but imagine you've got a client that's calling and they just said, I don't know, I wanna go to Alaska. I think August or September is gonna work out. If you're going to come back, if you know you only have one shot, and this is how I want you to think about it. Doesn't mean you only send one thing right now, guys, but if you only had one shot, what would be all the questions that you would ask? Ask all the questions in the beginning, because now you're teeing it up, and the consumer is saying, great, you're like an answer engine. You're making me give you all that information so that you're going to give me the absolute best options, and they're going to trust you for that. So it's important to ask more questions in the beginning as opposed to going back and forth, right? And these are open-ended questions as well as closed-ended questions. So these are emotionally charged questions. What's motivating you to say you want to go to Alaska? There's also obviously logistics. You tell me it's with your family. Share with me what does family mean to you? Like, make no assumptions, right? So ask more questions in the beginning. Use AI on the fly. So do you remember when I said that according to Pew Research, they were saying that consumers are expecting you to provide insights, cultural understanding, contingency plans. They were also assuming that you were going to possess in-depth knowledge of travel destinations, trends, niche experiences. Well, you can use AI, guys, not necessarily to put together an itinerary. I'm not saying that, but by golly, you really can if you learn how to prompt it properly. But use it on the fly. So as you're asking questions and you're having that conversation with your client, be on Perplexity and start typing in some of the things that your customer is saying they desire, or that they have, they're foodies, but you've never been to this one particular, country or this one particular region, but they're saying, yeah, we really love Greek food. I know we're going to be in Italy, but, is there any Greek food around there? Blah, blah, blah. Whatever that is, you could be typing that into AI, and AI instead of Google, because Google's just going to give you more homework to do. But you can type it into AI and you can sound like a rock star. You can say, you know what, based on some preliminary research that I've done, looks like there's a handful of really well-known Greek restaurants. I mean, let me share with you a couple of the items on the menu, because that's what AI will give you. The answer engine is going to give you the menu. It's not going to just say, yes, here's the names and here where they're located. They're going to go, oh, and based on this one, and this one, here's the highlights of the menu. So you'll be able to use AI on the fly. So get really comfortable with an answer engine. Then the next thing is, the third thing that you can do right away is segment your messaging. And so what I mean by that is, I was just talking to a TPI advisor yesterday, and she said, I want to get back into email marketing my clients, but some people I haven't talked to in a few years, blah, blah, blah. So she was telling me all this. And so I asked her, I said, well, is everybody in there, or do you have them segmented? Like, do you have people who've traveled with you in the last 2 years? Do you have people who've never traveled with you? Do you have people that you've, but you sent quotes to? Do you have it segmented where it's people you met at a networking event? Do you have people that are in your local community that you met at a community fair? Do you have, friends of prospects? Do you have people that are segmented that were in a group of some sort? And now the good news is this advisor did. So I was like, way to go, Tina, good. She's like, oh yeah, no, I totally know the answers to the majority of that. Well, good. Because her message about river cruising is got to have a different message to the person that she's already curated experiences for. Someone she just curated an experience, it's a different message for someone that maybe you quoted, but they never responded. It could be, hey, I know we met each other at the fair or at the community festival, blah, 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 blah. All your messaging needs to be segmented based on who that person is or what they've desired in the past or however you've segmented it. So in AI, because AI knows exactly who they're talking to, ask yourself, how can I ensure that I'm segmenting my messaging, right? So that I'm really looking at who it is that I'm talking to and what's going to be important to them. And then Joanie, we talked about this sales funnel marketing, and I've got an email at the end of this where I can send to everybody this particular webinar, but if you'll add it to the YouTube channel or wherever, sales funnel marketing, take advantage of understanding that your clients are naturally, and they want to naturally be walked down a path of marketing. Right? And it starts at the very top. And this is how all marketers do this, guys. This is not hard. This is just basic stuff. It just seems like it's hard. It's not. How do I get as many eyeballs on me as possible? And that could be, I'm saying yes to a community fair, a bridal show, a networking group. How can I get as many eyeballs on me as possible? What little micro action can I ask them to take? And if they do take, what action do I take after that, knowing where they are in the process? So again, I don't want to go through all of that over again, but that is another action that you guys can take, sales funnel marketing. And then finally, I want you to feed the beast, okay? Remember, Jenn Lee's super simple, unofficial definition of AI is sharing content from others so that you can share it as well, right? Creating that content for you. So everything that you do as often as you can, write blogs, reviews, things that you're posting on social, videos. YouTube videos are perfect for AI. AI loves finding videos about something. So if somebody types into perplexity, and now we do it in Google, and you guys do it, right? How many times you're getting ready to go on a cruise? I just did get ready to go on Regent Seven Seas, and I literally typed into YouTube, video review of Regent Splendor, this cabin number, blah. Well, golly, something close came up, and I was able to watch that. That is still the case. You've got to feed the beast. Feed it, feed it, feed it. And you want to feed it with your information because you have a stronger chance of somebody finding you as one of the answers to their request and question, which is find me a travel advisor that focuses on, that understands Rome travel for families, right? Well, if you've written something or if there's a review out there that talks about that, and I had another webinar about how to effectively ask for reviews and referrals, you've just got to put it in writing and share, 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 and share. So I just realized I didn't do a recap slide, so let me go back real quick. So here are the shifts that you can make right now. Ask more questions, use AI on the fly, actually make that part of your process. Segment your messaging. Users, or I should say travelers, are expecting you to have the answers. And sales funnel marketing and share. But I would say out of all of it, if all you do, the most important thing is become that answer engine by asking a lot of questions. Your number one adaptation to all of this, if all you do is just ask more questions, you're going to be way ahead of the game. All right, so those are my 5 do's. What questions do we have?
Okay, so folks, if you've got any questions, I've got a couple here, but if you've got any more, go ahead and put them in there. And just to let everybody know, you will receive about an hour after this, you're going to get an email that's going to have a link to all of the different webinars that we've done as well. And you'll also have a link to this webinar. So just everybody know it's been recorded and you will get that information this afternoon, about an hour after. So somebody says, can the sales funnel webinar be found? I answered that one for you. When you say, okay, hold on a second. When you say use AI on the fly, Jen, do you recommend Chat GPT or another way?
I like Perplexity, and I pay I think it's $10 a month, $20. It's not expensive. And you can turn on what they call Pro. And when you turn on Pro with Perplexity, it will prompt you with even deeper questions, right? So you might put in, and this is really all about the prompts, right? That's why if you're asking the questions, you are being your live prompt engine for your consumer. And they like it, they want it, they're getting used to it. So when you put that in, it'll kind of say, hey, you did okay, but honestly, I can't give you the answer until you give me a little bit more detail. And it will kind of walk you through what that is. And what I like about that is that it's really, in my mind, really training you guys on the regular to know that that's a question I did not ask. I'll give you an example. And Kyle Lee, who is our marketing technologist at TPI, and again, he doesn't work for us. He's actually retired, but he's obsessed with you guys. So we're so blessed at TPI to have him. He gave the example of if you put in into Perplexity, share with me places to scuba dive in Italy, okay? In the normal Google search or a Google type search, it's going to bring up a whole list of probably scuba dive resources, maybe, excursions that include scuba diving. It's going to it's going to bring up a bunch of ads about scuba diving locations. What Perplexity asks is, tell me about the proficiency of the scuba diver. Is this for beginners, intermediaries, or advanced? Now, as an advisor that you might not be familiar with scuba diving personally, you wouldn't know to ask that question. And so you may provide an answer that is, oh yeah, off the coast of such and such, here's a great place for you to go scuba diving. But you don't know if this is a beginner, an intermediary, or an advanced scuba diver. So Perplexity knew enough to say, that's not enough information. I need you to tell me more. And so when you do that, yeah, so when you use Perplexity, it kind of prompts you to realize you don't ask deep enough questions. You being we don't ask deep enough questions sometimes. Are you hungry? What does that mean? Yes, I'm hungry. Now we have to go into a whole litany of what are you in the mood for? Okay, well, I don't know, maybe how about Italian? I don't know about Italian. How about Mexican? I don't know. We didn't ask what's your, how much time do you have to eat? We didn't ask when do you want to eat, right? We didn't ask how you want to eat. Do you want it delivered? Do you want to go somewhere? Do you want it fancy? You want to we didn't ask that. We're so focused on the food, we forgot to ask about the atmosphere, the timing, right? So Perplexity,
Brilliant.
right? So that is what really prompted me when I started playing with Perplexity. I was like, great news. This is going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy if you ask more questions. So I hope I answered the question.
Share, yeah, you did, and I think you answered it great. Somebody did share this, so I'm just going to share this with the audience. Perplexity Pro is, I guess, $20 a month or $200 annually. Susan said. So thank you for sharing that, Susan. Okay.
Yeah, my friends use it. Yeah.
What is the best way, in your opinion, to ask questions to get all the information we need in a timely manner, so that we can serve the customer as quickly and best as possible while having what we need to do that?
Well, I'm going to tell you. Yeah, so I would say, and it's funny because there's a lot of advisors out there, and this is not a negative. I'm not getting ready to say a negative. There's a lot of advisors that rely a lot on automation or rely a lot on intake forms, which I believe in, okay? And in some cases, if you already know your customer, that's all you need, right? Like, your customer, they go on a cruise twice a year, hey, just tell me where you want to go this time. I'm not talking about those situations. The rest of them are, you got to get on the phone with them. You got to ask those emotional questions. Remember, I have 5 word swaps. That's another webinar. God, I got to put a whole resource list together for everybody here. But 5 word swaps, and one of them is, it's the question of what's motivating you. That's a question that will give you 15 answers within that one question, right? Versus, is there a special occasion? Because a special occasion only means a special occasion. It doesn't tell me anything else. Health needs, uncomfortability with flying, so on and so forth. So the short answer is, along the way, as you introduce yourself to somebody, when you introduce yourself and you say, oh yeah, I own a travel agency here in the Central Florida area. We focus a lot on, helping families travel and get along. And let me share with you our process here at the agency. We're going to spend about 15-20 minutes. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, and it's not because I'm nosy, it's because I want to make sure I hit this on the head the first time. If you tell people that's why you're asking the questions, they're going to find, okay, good. I've got someone who's not just a booking engine. I got someone who really cares. And so that's how you do it. Remember, guys, you don't book travel. You don't book travel. You curate experiences. You take you actually, I've kind of started to say this, you guys help people go on vacation. And there's a difference. Some advisors help people dream about going on vacation, but they never ask for the credit card, or they don't follow up, or they give them too much information or not information or whatever that is, and they don't close the sale. So you really didn't help them go on vacation. You helped them dream about going on vacation. Your job is to help them go on vacation. As simple as that. And part of that is a process. So I don't know if I've answered that question, but I think you
did.
Yeah. You just preface it.
I got another one. Yeah, you got to practice, right? It doesn't come just naturally. Should agents use AI for informational purposes only, or should they share it with their clients? And that, I think, is a really good question, because you really need to check what AI says sometimes before you share it.
Well, ChatGPT is still about 1.5 years behind with the answers, right? So some Gemini is a little more up to date, which is not an answer engine per se like Perplexity, but it is an AI generated. It lets you reword, like those of you that said, hey, listen, give me 10 10 pieces of social media content centered around helping folks from Michigan get out of the cold weather. It's creative that way, right? I would say that use it to get the conversation started and get you heading in the right direction. Even from a content standpoint, I never copy and paste what's in there ever, and I don't recommend you do it. Even though if you did, you're not really going to be, it's never going to give the same answer twice, because the way you ask it's going to be different the way than Joanie asks it, right? So, and then it gets to know your personality and what's important to you. So you don't need to fear that, but I would say I use it as an idea generator. I use it to help me organize my thoughts. And so if I were a travel advisor and it was an area that I wasn't super familiar with, I would say, put together an itinerary. All right, ChatGPT, please, I do it in Gemini or Perplexity, please generate a 10-day itinerary for a family of 4 with 2 teenagers who are twins that get along just fine. 2 girls that are twins get along just fine. They want to see wineries. They also want to ride horses. It looks like they don't want to be in the car more than 4 hours at a time. I'm looking for hotels that are in a mid-range price from such and such and such. You give it, you can talk to it just like that. It's going to spit out an itinerary for you. Now, those are all questions that you should know the answers to, right? So you can kind of type that in, and then from there you want to validate, right? From there, you want to then take it a little bit. All right, now it's giving me some hotels at a more mid-range price. I think we're with Signature as our consortia, and some of our top advisors, they say the very first thing they do when they're looking for hotels is they go into Signet and look under hotel collection. So that's how you use it.
Okay, makes sense. All right, so I think we've answered them all. I think you've got a lot of people thinking though right now. So there's a lot of thinking going on. Not as many questions, but lots of thinking. So we got some prizes to give away today. We do.
Hey, Joanie,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure. I just want to say this one last thing before we go to the prizes. Okay.
Okay.
I'm super passionate about what you guys do. I think, Joanie knows that because she's been hanging out with me for many, many years. And we have a Facebook group called Fiercely Forward. It's not a TPI group. It's really just a group I started during the pandemic. And, I want everyone to know that when we move fiercely forward together, when we adopt these things, when we pay attention to this, right? When you learn the things that you're learning and you take action on the items that are necessary for you to really connect with a consumer, when we move fiercely forward together, you guys, we can change the world together. I mean, that is how powerful what you do is to our world. And it's really about just getting out there, being really fierce about it. So I'm sorry, I just wanted to make sure I had said that.
No, I am absolutely glad you did. In fact, I'm going to find a way to use that right now in just a minute.
Oh,
all right.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So question number 1. Now, folks, what you're going to do is, as you know, if you've been on our webinars before, you're going to put your answers in the question area as fast as you possibly can. And then we are going to take on the first thing, we're going to take the 7th correct answer and the question, and then I'll go ahead and give you the answer, and then we're going to do the next question, and then we have a third one. So the prize is for the first 2, and then there's a prize for a third. So question number 1, we are going to expect blank, not options. Go.
Yeah. Hopefully they wrote it down.
Oh my gosh, so many smart. All right, we have a winner for that one. And April Oprea, you have won a consultation with the infamous, amazing Jenn Lee. And Jenn will reach back out to you. We'll send your email address to her, April. Congratulations. You can't spend better time than when you spend it with Jenn. And everybody got that one right. And the answer is answers. Okay, so let's go to the next one. All right, just a sec. And she says, woohoo, good job, April. Okay.
Way to go, April. Looking forward to it. Mm-hmm.
This one, I'm going to take the 10th. Okay. Make me count. What is the number 1 adaptation that advisors need to make? Go. Alrighty, we got it.
Oh, good.
Winner is Kelly, and I don't know if I don't want to mess up your last name and say it wrong, but I'm going to try. Mahabir, that was my guess, but I'm writing it down. And so the answer to that question is what, Jenn?
Ask more questions in the beginning.
All right.
Just ask
Good
more
job.
questions.
All right. So now we're going to go with the last one. So what you've won as well, Kelly, is another consultation of your very own, not another, with the infamous Jenn Lee. So Jenn will reach out to you. Now, our third prize is something that we're giving out from Travel Professional News and our various companies here. It's a thank you to TPI, really, even though one of you is going to win. Because of all the support that Jenn and her team give us here. So we're going to give out a $50 Amazon gift card. And that's for our thanks to Jenn, even though you don't get it, Jenn. We're just giving it to somebody else. All right. So I'm going to take the 5th person. Actually, I'm going to take the 8th. I'm just feeling so flaky today. Have you ever had one of those days where you're just like flaky? Okay.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. Question number 3. When we move blank forward together, we can change the world. All righty, we have a winner, and the winner is Rachel Boren. Rachel, congratulations. You have won an Amazon gift card, and I will be sending that out to you this afternoon via email, so you'll get that from us. Congratulations. The answer is fiercely, and that was a little clue she gave us a couple minutes ago.
Yeah.
Fantastic webinar. Everybody loved it. Jen, everybody's saying fantastic. So great. And just to remind everybody, you can see all of Jen's amazing webinars with us on our sites, travelprofessionalnews.com, and you'll see those links a little later this afternoon when you get an email from us. So anything else you want to share, Jen, or are we calling it a day here for today?
No, we can call it a day. I really
I'll
just
miss
honestly,
you.
yeah, I know. Well, yeah, so I'm not completely done with you yet, Joanie. So what Joanie is alluding to, for those of you that are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, what Joanie's alluding to is I'm super excited, but TPI is ready to stretch our wings a little bit further, and we are opening up a franchise division of Travel Planners International. TPI is not going away. It's a host agency. It's always going to be a host agency, but we are opening up a franchise division, and they have asked me to launch it and be the president. So in the next month or so, a couple of months, you'll be listening to a different voice from TPI. Dave Myhofer will be joining us, and we could not be more excited to add him to the team. But don't worry, Joanie, I can't leave you. I'm definitely going to continue.
I'm proud of you, though. Everybody, tell her congratulations. Let's give her a cheer for this. She deserves it. She works so hard, so hard. She's amazing. So thank you, Jen, and congratulations to you. They couldn't have made a better choice. Everybody agrees with me here, so we're very happy for you. Well, everybody have a great rest of your day. Jen, thanks again, my friend, and we'll talk soon. And everybody have a wonderful rest of your day and rest of your week, all right? So we'll see you next time. Thank you.
All right. Y'all take care. Bye.